The defenses are up, but despite a steady gaze on its neighbor to the north, many believe the South Korean military has failed to identify the real nature of the threat.
It turned out that North Korean ability to stage a threat to South Korea is quite different from what we expected. So I don't know whether it's going to be a fundamental change of our operational policy or not, but actually some change, major modification of our defense postures as well as the defense strategies.
At the demilitarized zone, a thin line divides the two sides. But in recent months, a chasm has opened up so wide that North and South relations are at their lowest point in decades. I'm standing on the South Korean side of the DMZ. The grey building behind me is North Korean, their guards on either side constantly watching each other. The blue houses behind me is where high-ranking officials from either side used to hold meetings, but there hasn't been one in over 2 months since the sinking of the naval ship. On March 26th, a 1,200-ton warship split in half while on patrol along the disputed maritime border. According to the South Korean Defense Ministry, traces of explosives commonly used in torpedoes and mines have been found. 46 sailors died. Na Jae-bong's 21-year-old son was one of them.
The most difficult part was to make the decision to allow the army to pull the ship out of the water, because that meant it was the end of the search for the boys.
The families of the sailors are lobbying the government to re-evaluate its armed forces. They say the military should be more prepared so something like this never happens again. The South Korean government is also under pressure to change the way it handles North Korea economically. Urged by the South Korean government, investors poured in hundreds of millions of dollars to turn North Korea's Mount KUMGANG into a tourist resort. 2 years ago, Seoul shut it down after a tourist was shot by a North Korean soldier near GYO-SHIK's hotel. And just weeks ago, North Korea seized all the properties after Seoul rebuffed its requests to reopen the resort.
Main problem is people are losing actually money in North Korea. That's not the first priority. Actually, when they reopen the business again, I wonder how many people can trust South Korea government to invest money in North Korea.
Unable to visit his hotel and restaurants in Mount KUMGANG, An works out of his now empty office in Seoul, a shell of the business that was once a key source of foreign currency for North Korea. But for some, the loss is immeasurable.
When my son went to the army, I missed him a lot, but learned to get used to it. Now I tell my wife and my other son to imagine that he's just far away, still on duty on the water.
South Korea is pressing ahead with its investigation. In just days, the results of what sank the warship will be revealed, threatening once again a new course in the North-South discord. Divya, Gopalan, Al Jazeera on the South Korean side of the demilitarized zone.